We're having our regular board meeting for the month of February. And I'd like to call that meeting to order. Mr. Johnson, would you start us with a prayer, please?
I'll stand, please. Heavenly Father, I come at this hour just thanking you for the many, many blessings you have bestowed upon each and every one under the sound of my weak voice. Lord, we thank you from our early morning ride. You have kept us all day long. Now, Lord, here we are trying to make some decisions. We need help, Father. Please, sir, crown our head with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the business that's at hand for the city of Bastrop, so we can remain the city of spirit, pride, and progress. Bless this meeting. Bless all that's in attendance. These are all blessings. We thank you in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Moore, would you give us a pledge?
Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ms. Gomes.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Shaw.
Here.
Mr. Armstrong.
Here.
Mr. Locke.
Present.
All present, Mayor.
Okay. Do we have any announcements? Any public comment as to related to items on the agenda? Approval of minutes, regular meeting January 14th, 2016.
I make that motion, Mayor.
I second.
We have a motion by Mr. Armstrong, second by Mr. Shaw. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Financial Committee report, and it's Resolution 1649. Mr. Shaw?
Mayor, we have reviewed the bills and claims for the month of January 2016, and I recommend that we approve this. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Locke. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. And we have we had a person to resign off the Civil Service Board, and I would like to make an appointment. I'd like to appoint, if she's actually a retired school teacher, I'd like to appoint Ms. Cynthia Clark as the new person on the Civil Service Board.
I make that motion, Mayor.
I second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Resolution 1651, a resolution of the Mayor and Alderman of the City of Bastrop to approve City of Bastrop zoning applications related to the Briarwood Estates of Bastrop Housing Development as per terms and conditions recommended by the City of Bastrop Planning Commission and subject to the conditions recommended by the zoning administrator of the city, and to perform such acts in fulfillment thereof that may be necessary and proper. Ms. Rogers.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilman. My name is Debbie Rogers. I'm with the Planning and Zoning Commission. We met with Mr. Perry, who's building those housing units. We met with him at our last meeting, and the board thought that that would be an asset to the city. It's similar to those that he already has, which if anyone has driven by, they're really nice, and they certainly enhance the neighborhood. So our recommendation was that we approve that for Mr. Perry.
Okay. And Mr. Perry, location?
Sorry?
The location.
It's 1718 Highway, Old Monroe Road. That's the front. It does not go all the way through to Daisy.
Okay.
It is, Day Street comes down in off of Daisy.
Okay. Okay, 139. That's
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
What is your pleasure?
I make that motion, Mayor.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Moore and second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Resolution 1650, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, Louisiana DOT, state project number H.011-809 for an AWAC -3 PT cellulometer sensor upgrade. CVL 31 at the Morehouse Memorial Airport. Mr. Elliott? What did I just say?
Well, basically, the state has purchased some equipment to upgrade our weather station at the airport.
Okay.
And what this is just us saying, yes, we will accept the equipment you bought for us, and thank you for it. And in there, they've already purchased the equipment for the upgrade. All we have to do is accept it. And they're also allotting us, I think, $8,000 for the installation or the miscellaneous cost associated with it to do that upgrade.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and that particular piece, it's a ceilometer, and what that does is it measures the cloud height at the airport, so it tells you where the cloud bases are.
Okay. What would be your pleasure?
I move that we accept this ordinance, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second by a motion by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Evans. Order 164238. A, an ordinance of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Bastrop to amend and restate sections 20-6, A, 2 of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Bastrop, Louisiana, related to the issuing insurance policy, liability limits required prior to the issuing of a permit for owner-operators of vehicles for hire, and address other related matters with respect thereto. Mr. Lawrence.
Yes, sir. Mayor and members of the Board of Aldermen, this is an ordinance for introduction on a matter that was brought to my attention either by the police chief or Ms. Goldman or both. The law has changed in the state requiring that people who operate taxis and vehicles for hire have to have certain minimum limits of insurance. And we found that in looking at our ordinance, we were below, in terms of what we require, we were below what the state says that we must require. And because of that change in the state law, we're making our ordinance be in sync with what the state says. So for introduction tonight is to amend the Code of Ordinances to raise the minimum limits, minimum of $15,000 per person dealing with bodily injury liability, minimum aggregate of $30,000 for bodily injury, meaning if it's more than one person, up to at least $30,000 in insurance must be available, and then minimum limits for at least $25,000 for property damage. So if you hit somebody else's vehicle or hit somebody else's tangible property, you have to have at least $25,000 in force. This is just for introduction, and you'll vote on it if you so desire to approve it at your next meeting.
Okay. This is for taxi for hires.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any discussions or questions?
Question, does that include limousines?
It's going to be any vehicle for hire. In other words, if you're being paid to transport people, in other words, you're doing it for hire, the answer is yes.
Well, the ones that are already operating now, will they get a notice?
Yeah, we're going to tell them they got to meet the minimum limits, because no matter what the state law says what the limits are, and they need to be in compliance with what the state law says.
I could understand if you're getting a new vehicle, getting a license for it and so forth.
Yes, sir.
But the ones already in service, that's, you answered my question, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And this just has a layover, no action on it?
That's right, until the
Okay.
next regular meeting for next month.
Okay. The next item is discussion and action, and this, we have a request to extend the sewer on the Maru Ridge Highway to Roseview Mobile Home Village, and that's out past, I guess, 165 North. No, it actually, yeah.
South,
It's across, yeah.
south. 167?
It's north.
That's north.
Going that way, oh, okay.
Cut your mic off.
Yeah, right now, we're working on the sewer. I think he wants the sewer, and I think we have an ordinance that says, I know anyone that's attached to the sewer now has to be inside the city limits. Mr. Lawrence?
Well, that's correct. I think I remember when that change was requested and made. And I guess just to give everybody some history, it's not unusual for an incorporated municipality like the city of Bastrop to sell sewer service to households or businesses that are outside of the city limits. But I can also remember when the Board of Aldermen decided as a policy decision that they wanted to encourage people to annex versus just getting those services. So I remember when that change was made. So now, based on where you are, if a business or individual wants sewer service but not to be annexed, then you're going to have to change your ordinance to allow yourself to be able to do that. Understand, you have a right to say that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to do, but you wrote a rule where you said you're not going to do that. So you can change it and provide the service, or you can say, no, we're not going to change it. You must make a request to be annexed into the city before we will consider it. If we skip to what it takes to be annexed, I'll just put it in basic terms. It's where the people who own the property in question have to make a written request to the city describing the property and where it's located and saying that they want for it to be annexed. Then there's a sequence that follows that, which involves contacting the registrar of voters and also contacting the assessor, because there has to be a determination made about how many registered voters live in the area to be annexed, and also determinations regarding ownership and property value. But those are just formal things that have to be done in the process. And it used to be we had to get pre-clearance from the Justice Department. Well, that's no longer required now. So it's really your prerogative whether you wish to annex a new area into the city or not. After you receive that written request for an annexation, and after we go through the formalities of describing the property, saying who lives there, and making other certifications about ownership. So I think I covered two things: where you presently are about selling sewer service to people that are not in the city, and what it takes to be annexed.
Who would incur the cost of doing annex?
Well, the city always has traditionally borne the cost. Probably the major cost is the civil engineering part of it, the land surveying part of it, if there's such a requirement, because you have to describe what's being annexed. Then you have to redraw the entire city limits according to the way our ordinance reads, that then includes what the new territorial boundaries are going to look like. So that's the main cost. Other than that, I
So
don't,
have we got written requests on file now for that?
I would have to refer to the city clerk and the mayor.
Nothing right.
Well,
Nothing in writing.
nothing in writing,
But he
but
wants to-
Mr. Jones did request to be annexed into the city. He wanted to be annexed into the city.
But didn't he, in our discussion with him, didn't he discuss about paying for that?
for the pump.
For the pumps, as well, I
I
understood.
know it was something about paying for something.
Yeah.
He did agree he would pay for the pump.
Those would be the sewer.
Sewer
pump.
pump.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
well, I mean,
So that would be a part of the discussion, or that would be a part of,
the city could require that right up front. If you want us to take you in, you gotta incur the cost of these things that you want when you get in. Just put it right up front.
Yeah, we told them there would be a cost for the sewer pump.
but I think that needs to be a part of the discussion and
Discussion.
documented.
Yes, sir, and I mean, I'll say this, I guess what I said earlier, I think the question was, what's the cost of annexation? I figured we was just strictly talking about the annexation process. I hadn't been a part of I guess the discussion is, they want sewer systems, sewer service. So that can be done. That's
Okay. So I will get back with him and let him know the process.
And when you do, just, if they have a description of that property already, it would be very helpful, so that it tells us exactly what's to be annexed, because we have to
Okay.
do an ordinance to do the annexation.
Okay.
Was Mr. Jones the only one that's had any interest in this so far?
No, sir, we,
got others?
yes, before we started on that sewer main that we still are not through with, we had already contacted the owners from there, and we have those ready to go. But we first wanted to get the sewer out there because that's what they're wanting.
Right.
So, and we're not through with that part to start on the trailer park, because we had already bid out this project, putting the main down the road. So until we got to finish that before we can even get the engineers to see about tying them in, because the main don't go that far. It stops right on the east side of Peach Orchard Road. I think it's gonna stop right there.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll happen pretty soon.
We've been working on it over a year
Yes.
on a 60-day project.
So,
Okay.
So like, is it, they don't want annexation before that happens, basically? In other words, they want to see that part get done first?
well, I think to him, his main thing is, he wants sewer now. So that's the rush. He's definitely agrees to come in and wants to come in, so I thought we'd just do it all at one time.
It really ought to not take that long once the ball gets rolling.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I need to ask for an expanded to the agenda. We have a few liquor permits more than anything.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr.
Second.
Johnson,
Second.
second by Mr. Moore. Any discussion? All for? Against? Chief?
Mayor.
Council.
Yes, sir, this is a recommendation for the following establishment for a new liquor license for the year 2016. Named J and LLL Stop and Shop number 5, 741 Collinston Road. It is a Class A retail dealer for the off-premises only license, and I do recommend that this be approved.
Okay. What is it?
It's,
Where is
The old Hester's.
Okay.
The convenience store has changed hands, a new owner. They're in the process of remodeling and getting their liquor license to sell alcohol.
Okay.
It'll be the old Hester's, 741 Collinston Road.
Okay. Thank you.
And I do recommend for the renewal of the license, issuance of a new license.
Okay.
It's your own word, huh?
Yes, sir.
What is your pleasure?
I recommend it.
We have a motion from Mr. Johnson,
Second.
second by Mr. Armstrong. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. And that we have eliminated out of agenda, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Unanimous, right?
Yes.
Huh?
Say aye.
Unanimous. Oh, well.
It was a little slow there.
Anything else done?
Yeah.